Oh, wow. Okay. Isis. Well, where do I start? I guess I'm going to start off with what just happened at the end there. That was actually quite heavy. There was actually a moment when Clark was talking to Lois that he just for a split second, and I mean for a split second, that he reminded me of Tom Welling reminded me of Christopher Reeve. There was that look in his eye, that little glint of Christopher Reeve was in Tom Welling's face at that split second, and I thought, this looks interesting. But then what happened after that, I was like, oh god, oh dear. Yeah, I can just see all the Close fans now going, eee! Yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, Isis. This episode was based around the Egyptian goddess known as Isis, whose true love Osiris was cut up into little pieces, and his bits of his body were scattered around the world by some crazy-assed evil villain called Set, I believe. And then Osiris spent most of her life looking for him. Isis spent most of her life looking for Osiris, getting his body back together. The last piece was his heart. Being that she was in love with this guy, she did whatever it took to get him back. The amulet that we saw in oh god, it was in Shield. Yes, in Shield. That we saw a little preview of what had happened to said amulet. Lois accidentally was accidentally put into Lois's bag, and then that's when it arrived in Smallville. Lois is getting dressed up as an Egyptian woman because Oliver Queen is hosting a gala for whole and Egyptian antiques thing going on. So it gets to the point of where when Lois and Clark, this is where it gets interesting. As I say, with Isis, she's obviously wanting to get Osiris back to life. Now, the producers said that it wasn't based on the DC Comics character Isis or from the TV show back in the 70s. I'll be perfectly honest, I've never seen the 70s TV series. I know that Craig Byrne of Krypton Sight knows more about that than I do, so if you want to ask questions about it, best to ask him. But the actual Isis herself, as I say, the character Isis that I'm fully aware of is from the recent sort of DC Comics stories, especially of the whole 52 series that happened a couple of years ago or so, 2-3 years ago, and her husband, whatever you want to call him, was actually a guy known as Teth Adam, who, by the power of Shazam, when he says the word, he turns into Black Adam. Okay, so you know who I'm talking about, right? There was actually a reference to said Teth Adam in this episode, which I thought was pretty good. That was awesome nod to Black Adam there. I thought that was brilliant. The strange thing is that when this episode was more about secrets being revealed. And by secrets, I mean Lois telling Clark that she knows who he is, and Clark having to tell Lois that he is the Blur. What I found interesting was when I read some spoilers that Clark was going to tell Lois his secret, and I thought, yeah, maybe while she's possessed. And true to form, that is exactly what happened. She was possessed by Isis. Seconds later, Clark tells her he's the Blur. And Isis is saying, that's not really that important, I don't really care who you are, you know. So she then flies off, starts looking for Osiris's heart. Oliver is still hung up on Chloe. Yeah, please, can we just drop that now? Because like as Tess put it so well, by the way, Tess is in this episode, she does brilliantly in this episode. As Tess put it so well, you're not the Oliver Queen that you used to be. You're a caricature of yourself. You know, he is a shadow of his former self. You know, we need the old Oliver Queen back now. I mean, him and Chloe were dating for 6 months. 6 months. It's not like as if they were together for 6 years. If they were together for 6 years, I can totally understand, but they weren't. It was 6 months. Get over it. Move on. Okay. Anyway, as I say, Tess is in this episode. She helps Oliver and Clark to defeat Isis, which then prompts them, both Oliver and Clark, to bring Tess into their team. And yeah, they decide if it's a good idea or not to let Tess become a part of their team and take over Watchtower in Chloe's absence, kind of thing. They're still not too sure. They're not sure if they trust her so well, but they're going to see how it goes. Meanwhile, young Alexander has grown a few centimeters, and in just the past sort of couple of weeks. Yeah, so I've seen a preview for the next episode. I believe that's Ambush. Excuse me. And yeah, Connor Stanhope returns, by the way. So that's all I'm going to say on that one. But this episode itself, anybody seen the movie The Mummy? Yeah, because that was all I could think about when the whole Isis going to resurrect Osiris story was. That was the first thing that popped into my head. I was like, I've seen this before. Oh yeah, that was it, The Mummy, where the high priest Imhotep, who was cursed for 3,000 years, buried alive, had his tongue ripped out, and was eaten alive by scarabs, then is brought back to life 3,000 years later to resurrect his true love, Anaxunamun. And it's like, yeah, I think the producers have been watching The Mummy a bit too much by the sounds of things, but that was the first thing that popped into my head. So it had that old Egyptian feel. Oh, and by the way, as Oliver Queen put it, you know, an old age Egyptian goddess comes to life, and the one person that we need to call on, a Dr. Hawkman or something like that, has taken a sabbatical. I thought, you know what, you couldn't have put that better, because the one person that they could really rely on is nowhere to be seen. Carter Hall, where the hell were you? You know, you were the man for the job. The only thing I was slightly disappointed about this episode was Erica Serra, who was cast in this episode. A lot of people assumed that she was going to play Isis. I honestly would have wished that she had done, because she had that look about. Don't get me wrong, Lois looked great in the Egyptian outfit, and you know, playing Isis, or Lois possessed by Isis, was really good. But Erica Serra, she's got more that tanned look about her, that Middle Eastern look, that I think if they had shown a true form of Isis, I think Erica would have not Erica Durant, but Erica Serra would have fitted that description really well. But hey, what can you do? Cat Grant, oh my god, I completely forgot about Cat Grant. Yes, she was in this episode, and I have to say, do you know what? It really made me happy seeing Cat Grant in this episode, because the feud between her and Lois is exactly how it is in the comics. Did you see the way that she just stabbed Lois's hand with the pen? I thought, genius. That is exactly what I read in the comics, and that's what I like to see on screen. And then Lois is about to knock out Cat, and then you see Clark just stop. Ladies, who wants to go first? I'm thinking, yes, that's the shit, dude. Who wants to go first? Because that's pretty much how they behave in the comics. I don't care what anyone says, that is how they behave in the comics. So at least the producers got that one pretty much spot on. I thought it was amazing. Cat thinks that the Blur is Lois as well, by the way. I thought that was the icing on the cake. That just made me laugh. I was like, really, Cat? Really? You think Lois is the Blur? I mean, when she told Tess was like, yeah, right, okay, whatever. You know, no, seriously, bring me serious news. No, is that the best you got? But yeah, Kat saying that Lois was the Blur, and the way how she said that she's got evidence on her phone, and Clark is thinking, oh shit, I thought I got rid of all the evidence, and then he super speeds, smashes her phone, takes her phone apart, where she tries to show the pictures of Lois. Phone falls apart. I was like, genius. That's how it works. That's how it's done. That's how it's seen in the comics. That's how it's seen on the screen now. Amazing. So seriously, guys, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you thought of the episode. I've got like less than 3 hours, because I'm getting ready to go to London. My flight leaves at 7 o'clock in the morning, but I've got to be ready in about 3 hours because my flatmate is going to drive me to the airport. She's actually asleep right now next door as we speak, so try not to make too much noise. But I've got to pack and get everything ready, then I'm going to go to London, and yeah, never mind. But no, seriously, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later. Good night.